Hello everyone. Good time zone, good evening, because we're in Europe, we're a community. We are Euphoria. We are a community that serves to uplift, represent, and chat about all the cool TTPRG. I can't say words anymore. Stuff, nerd, game, tabletop board game stuff that happens
Buzzword,
here in
buzzword.
Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
here to do that. The we in this case is going to be Aida. Hi, I'm one of the EU4 co-founders. My pronouns are she and her. I am a Latina queer woman of color. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair pulled back, and I'm wearing a blue hoodie. I'm wearing my University Leiden hoodie because I took my master's here in Holland, and that's where I went.
Hey, alumni represent. Also,
Yeah,
everyone.
who you friend?
I am Ruben. Pronouns they, them, he, him, she, her, whatever you want to be. I am a non binary person based in The Hague. I'm here uh, visually as a person wearing glasses. I've got recently dyed, touched up hair, little red, little
Nice.
silver streaks. I am biracial, light skinned, and I'm wearing a funky, sort of disco Elysian y button up shirt.
Cool. Super cool. And we were just chit chatting in the green room because it's been a few days, but Ruben and I were both at this itty bitty, it's not itty bitty anymore, TTRPG convention based in the Netherlands called Roll Initiative Con. And from here on out, we're going to be referring it purely to RinCon, which is
Ring.
that shorted.
Yeah.
And RinCon, this is its third year, fourth iteration, because it did do a mini one last fall, and it very much serves advertises itself as a convention that is set in the Netherlands for the Dutch community, but also operated for international audience. So everything is primarily set in English. So because of that, it has felt very accessible to a lot of the international crowd that is here in the Netherlands. It has felt very accessible to the people that travel from other countries, especially Germany. They have their convention based in Nijmegen, right outside Nijmegen in
Yeah.
Ewijk,
A
which is
like.
Ewijk, the middle of Ewijk, which is close to the German border, so it's great for that. And this is your has been your second RingCon, Ruben?
Yes, I went last year for the first time, so its second iteration. Also met up with you. Also did panel stuff. And I remember because yeah, last year it was a little more low key. I feel.
Mm.
Just like for my personal experience.
Yeah.
And this year it was really like just it was bustling. Just that there were so many people, there were so many different faces, so many visually like visibly out and queer and proud
Mm,
folks.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
um Way more POC this year as well, but
Yes.
that is like
Like I needed 2 hands to count them this time. I
exactly
didn't
like
need more than 2 hands, but wow.
percentage wise it's a huge boost. Absolute numbers, they're out there, we're
They're
out
out there.
there. But no, it was really fun. It was just like great, just like meeting up with you again. We
Yeah.
saw Anna, we saw Shrifu, saw Marcus, saw a bunch of other people, saw Winter as well. So that's like
Yeah.
super cool. Got a bunch of merch, but we're gonna talk about all that.
We're gonna talk about all that. I actually had the impression that that last year's 2-day convention felt a little bigger than this one.
Hmm.
Interesting. Um,
All right.
maybe not in terms of the quantity of people, but in
Mhm.
terms of no, there weren't more stalls. I feel last year there may have been more panels, more presentations, more workshops than
Mm.
this year. I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't go to all of them because spoons and
Mhm.
time only allow so much.
Yeah.
Um, but they very really clearly state that like they're going to be held in English or in Dutch. I don't know if they have German language targeted ones, but where
I don't
they
think
default
so.
to English. So again, that really helps with the accessibility. I think the main thing that people gripe a little bit about Rincon, objectively so, is that it is outside a city. So public transport is a challenge,
Yes.
especially if you don't have a car, and especially if you do require, for accessibility purposes, for example, to get there. That's not an easy. trek. It is physiologically, it is geographically easy. It's flat because we're in the Netherlands. Everything is super flat, but it's a bit away. It's a bit isolated.
Hmm.
It's a 5-minute walk to the nearest little mini Albert Heijn supermarket, and that's it. That's
Yeah.
all you got. No hotels.
Hmm. Yeah, they they tried to do like pendelbushes, so like
Mm,
buses from nearby stations, but I think they had to cancel the ones from Nijmegen, like the
yeah.
biggest like city. Um, so yeah, for me it was a 3 hour
See?
trip to go there and another 3 hours to go back. Completely worth it. You know, it is worth to see like what the Dutch tabletop community like is and like what it has to offer and see this current iteration of it. But yeah, there's like potential I feel to like bring it to a more, I don't know, connected state. But maybe that's Randstad privilege. You know, maybe that's
Yeah, Ruben and I are both. Ruben is an express stop away from me, essentially, and we live in a very high, the high population density part of
yeah.
the Netherlands called the Randstad. If you're familiar, if you're
Hmm.
Dutch, if you're familiar with that, that's the North and South Holland part of the country.
Yeah.
And the center of the universe does feel like it's a bit here. It kind of is in terms of
Yeah.
people, transportation, diversity, for example. Um,
Hmm.
our
The government
country
here.
is 2 hours in every direction, and it still takes 3 hours to get
Yeah, exactly.
like 2 hours at the German border, but it takes 3 hours somehow to get to
There's
Quebec.
AWAC exists in like a pocket dimension that you can only access with like a certain like ward and spell and passport
Mhm.
you need to acquire. But again, all worth it. Like
Yeah, yeah,
definitely recommend it to everyone just to like feel connected to like see a lot of people in the same like space with the same interests being able to nerd out about, you know, the same campaigns, the same kind of like systems as you do, and then explore more on top of that.
yeah, absolutely. So, again, it's a very young convention. There's
Hmm.
growing pains, and as much as we can give criticisms or feedback, I don't know if any person giving those criticisms can personally do better. So, props on having that happen. I
Yeah.
hope it continues growing strong. There
Hmm.
are other conventions in the Netherlands, TTRPG wise, even a new one coming up this year called Main Kastkan
In QuestCon. Yeah.
in our neighborhood. Finally, literally,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Just like the broodfabriek.
yeah, up in Rijswijk.
Yeah.
So I'll be there. But when I went to sign up to, because I plan to GM there,
Mm.
it's completely all in Dutch, which is
Oh.
completely fine and normal because we are in the Netherlands.
Hmm.
But
there's
otherwise,
there's no
like
explicit international sort of like outreach to that, or it
exactly,
feels okay.
exactly. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm curious how that's going to go. But RingCon specifically, so we were there for the weekend. Did you have any games in the end that you sign up for, Ruben? Or you just chill vibes?
I was mostly chilling. I did the thing where I walked up to one of the game rooms. I saw street food there. I saw them GMing their Pathfinder game, which
Yeah.
looked very intense from a distance. And then I was like, all these tables are full. There was probably a sign up sheet beforehand that I didn't think about. So
Yeah.
that was that. But I was having a fun time just like walking through like the little event center, like the different stalls. Like it's like really really varied. It's really fun to just like chat with the people about like their like published like campaigns, like
Yeah.
be it based on like D&D 5e or like something original. A lot of good food as well.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. They're
they
varying it up.
they're varying it up. What else is there? um yeah, just like a lot of people in costume, which is very fun. Like it's like a TTRPG con, but it's like at the same time people go to the extra mile to make it cosplay, right? To cosplay as
Yeah.
their own character, or to like to be the plague doctor wandering around, you know.
Yeah. There was one, if I may say so kindly, mad lad who came in a a dragonborn costume, uh,
My
fully kitted out, full mask with steam, with literal steam coming out of the nostrils, light up. the poor person inside was suffering for their art, and the
Hmm.
suffering made it very beautiful to behold. It was fantastic.
Yeah, like that honestly made my day. Just like seeing that was like, this is what I'm here for. Exactly this kind of like tafereel, this image.
Hmm.
I can go home and be just like fully elated, fully saturated with contentedness. I loved that they did not they like took a vow of silence just to keep the mystery up.
Hmm.
Or, you know, there was something in the way that didn't allow for speech or something, but they chose not to speak, only to like menacingly blow steam. Their eyes lit up different like colors as well.
Yeah, they had LEDs in there somehow.
The effort, the prestige, honestly,
Yeah,
through the roof.
it was fun. And if we haven't said it before, RinCon is a small convention. This is nothing like Gen Con. This is nothing like UKGE. This is it's nothing like Comic Con. I think after, if you don't have a scheduled game that you're playing, most of the panels are walk-in. You're,
Mhm.
if I may say, objectively, you're out of content after about an hour and a half, maybe two. That's really it. It's small.
Mhm.
We're talking about maybe like concurrently, uh, just under 1,000 people concurrently. Like
Yeah.
more walk in through the door constantly.
Hmm.
But yeah, well, 1,000 is very generous. A couple of hundred. It's
It's still like
impressive.
on several days, you know, being able to get that amount of like audience as well, and the fact that there are so many people willing to like ready, willing, and enthusiastic to travel. You know,
Yes.
big shout out to the main organizer, Queen Anne. Have to
They
do it.
them. Yes.
They them, Queen Anne. But yeah, it's fun. Like I only went one day, so
Mhm.
maybe you can tell me a little bit more about the Sunday that you experienced.
It was even more relaxed because of what I mentioned. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the primary energy was indeed spent on Saturday, and
Hmm.
Sunday was very much like, uh, our games are scheduled. We're good. We're just going to sit here and talk and chat and catch up,
Hmm.
run into old friends. It was very much like a, like I see you once a year somehow at Rincon, Mike, and good catching up and talking about the loot that we got. One of the main things you have to do at Rincon is indeed peruse through the vendor hall. Now there's an indoor and outdoor. So far, every Rincon has been blessed with A+ weather.
Yes.
And I feel that it's here that we also get a good reflection of the TTRPG, the Dutch TTRPG community, at its very surface level. Not so much its deeper level. I feel I am projecting.
Mm.
Because one comment that we had among our little group walking around was like, there is a lot of 5e here. This is almost 90% of all content to be
Something like that.
purchased
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
was 5e specific. So not even 2024 D&D rules, uh 5th edition uh
From
Dungeons
launch.
and
Yeah.
Dragons.
Yeah, like a
And
lot of homebrew campaigns being turned into one-shot campaign books,
yeah,
accessible to all, but still relying on, you know, the your standard 5e system.
yeah, everything was very heavily D20 system pushed. So if you didn't have vendor tables, for example, selling their cool home brews, their campaign settings, their tables, sorry, their game tables
Yeah.
uh, that are all printed out. They were either dice, which were of course all targeting D20 systems where you need the whole polyhedral set. You have your generic TTRPG knickknacks, your plushies, your stickers, uh, which again mostly focus on D20 and other fandoms, and a lot of miniatures, which of course highly favor uh, Dungeons and Dragons. Like I didn't really particularly see, uh, like there wasn't like Warhammer 40K level minis. They were just
Hmm.
like minis, very generic minis, which are cool to
Yeah.
have. But I play online mostly, so I was like, oh,
So you can just like out of camera just like, and now I kiss this NPC. No, it was also a lot of fantasy
Yeah,
minis.
yeah.
So like sci-fi. I also didn't see a lot of sci-fi content,
Mm-mm, there wasn't
um,
much.
which is something that I think is like a good balance to want to achieve, like the sci-fi and fantasy, and have that like accommodate each other. I also like sci-fi minis a lot more than fantasy minis. I say that though, but I did get a little frog wizard with like a little cappuccino cap.
I forgive you. That sounds adorable.
Uh-huh. They wouldn't let me paint it though in the workshop. That's
Oh,
fine. They
yeah.
had completely good and valid reasons to do so. But I was so excited, and it was a little funny because I was walking in here with like this tiny thing, and there was no one else in the workshop. I was there early, and the person hosting the workshop, the mini painting one, was like very excited to tell me about like, oh, what we're gonna do, and then I said the specifics like, yeah, I got this, not from sort of like your like sponsored stand, your mini production stand, and it also doesn't, it's not primed yet. And then sort of like the look on their face was like, I'm so sorry, but we can't do that then. And I was like, that's for him
Unfortunate.
regret, but I understand, I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So now need to find another home, need another place to paint my little my little frog.
I mean, you can always come to Ida's. I used to paint a lot of minis. We used to get a lot of minis at my house because we had ideas that we would use them and we played in person.
Hmm.
So we actually have the whole stand with all the paint buckets, the
Yay!
brushes. We have the holders, and then COVID happened and we never really went back to in person. So we
Wait, but
have all the stuff.
I'd love to come and paint.
Come
Yay!
over.
That's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Okay, we got it. We're gonna talk after the stream.
Yeah.
Um, so fantasy stuff and a lot of Dungeons and Dragons D20 system primarily. Uh, so my challenge, or at least my personal interest, was I don't play Dungeons and Dragons anymore. It was my first game. I played it for many years. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had the pleasure of finishing entire campaigns in it, which is a good flex, I have to say.
Hmm.
But I really wanted to go out of find and support content that was not Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that was a struggle bus to find, honestly, at that convention. But they were there, and even though there were vendors that were selling, of course, exclusively D20 and D&D games, there were some that I was like, oh, cool, you're exclusively like making queer content. Cool, I actually see people of color in your venture in a non-Eurocentric
Hmm.
setting there. That is really cool. Oh, you're in this really hyper local place. I love that. So we can shout those out as well. But I want to give a little shout out, especially to the non D&D and non D20 system games first. And I will do that by starting with this super cool game I picked up
Harness.
called Incarnus by Peter Elroy. And this is a game, a role playing game about gods, drama, and the creation of those gods. And it's a small A4, not A4, what's the size called? It's
A5.
so
Was it?
it's
Yeah, something like that.
Ida head size. Now that is the standard size now.
Yeah, it is AI.
And it's a game where you create your deities. Sort of roll on table. It's a D6 system, I believe.
Ooh.
And I think this is a cool game. It's not a solo game because you make your gods together, and then, as gods do with many pantheons, they get into trouble, they get into drama. There's slights about between
Messy.
them, and then there's things to solve, things to get over, or there's consequences for the worlds of which they are the gods of. And that's really interesting. And what I like particularly about the organization of this little booklet is that the very back page is just the quick rules for your reference guide.
That's actually super sick because then you don't have to like look at what page was like, oh, where is the cheat sheet? It's like, no,
Yeah,
flip it over.
I don't have to break the spine to keep it open always
Hmm.
on this page because it's always in the back.
Is it about like a specific pantheon, or is it make up your own god and see what happens?
you literally shape your gods, you shape your domains, you shape
Fantastic.
the landmarks, you give them impossible tasks. And there's this really cool table at the back about what tasks. One of the tasks that really like the Herculean tasks we know in the
Mhm.
Greek dramas. One of the impossible tasks is herd the cats from Gallo Island onto a ferry.
That can't be done.
That cannot be done. Only you need gods to herd,
Mhm.
literally herd cats.
I have one cat, and trying to get her into like the little cat bag I have just to bring her to the vet. It takes it. No, I need Hercules for that. I need a big, strong man to do that for me.
Precious.
Hmm.
So Incarnus was one of the games I picked up
What would
by
your
Peter Elroy.
domain be? What would you be the god of?
Oh man, I gotta roll. I gotta find these tables. What are we? I get to consult muses.
Hey, girl.
Ooh,
Hey.
domain creation phase. Begin with an idea. Domains form the core themes of your myth, and you will come to life in different ways for you to explore and interact with. Take a blank creation card and choose a unique domain. Oh, also, I get to email the creator and they will send me a digital copy. So
Fantastic.
I actually need
That's really
to
nice.
do that as well. Um, ew. Domains could be things like fire, like earth, like luck, like
Hmm.
passion, like war.
Hmm. Yeah, you're a war god through and through.
Interesting you say this. We will get into that and why you think these things. Um,
I was only being half kidding. Only half.
it's okay. We know where we're respective, where each other, where we live. Um, what if
Exactly.
what I found cool about the table where I picked this book up was there was a table with other indie games on there as well. At the moment, though, I think at least quite a few of those games were uh, mostly agnostic systems you can put into other games, but they seem to be still primarily marketed to D&D. There was a
Yeah.
lot of Mouse Ritter content.
There
I
was,
saw.
yeah.
I was really happy about it. I haven't played Mouse Ritter, but seeing a lot of adventures for that game was like, that's really cool. Cool. But I did because I don't have haven't played Mouse Ritter. I was like, I should check that out first before I empty my very sad, angry, crying wallet.
That's the thing, like, right? You have to be willing to spend.
Hmm.
But on games like Mouse Ritter, which is allows you the unique opportunity to be a small critter in a world of big dangers and have huge, what's it called, Redwall like adventures. I think that's totally worth it.
Yes, yes. I have to check in on that because I'm really pleased that I did see quite some
Hmm.
homemade content for that.
One of my
Uh,
favorite
Go ahead.
one of my favorite children's series growing up, Redwall. I still have my the ones the books that I have since I was like 7. I still have them in my closet just over there.
Oh,
Hmm.
which you probably I'd be surprised if you have this next game in your book closet because it's the one I showed you. You're like, what? This exists?
Yes, Hilligersberg. Let's go.
Hilligersberg Cops.
Cops.
This is by Sheeps and Creeps. Hilligersberg's Cops by Creeps and Sheep is so this game takes the premise of the 1980 uh, cop style drama TV series. So really kitsch with a really wild,
Hmm.
oversaturated filter, but places very literally in Rotterdam in the 80s in specific wijks like Hillergebers.
Hmm. Hmm.
This game is in Dutch. It is a D4 system. And what was really cool when I bought the game was it was really affordable. It was like €6. They also gave me the set of dice. I was like, what?
For something that looks this sleek and is
Yeah.
that sort of like well organized, like this is a steal.
And of
It is a
course, I
gem and a
saw
steal.
like handsome black man on the cover, and I was like, tell me more.
Hmm. Hmm. That's also like such a good like way because Hillegersberg is like a pretty like rich and white community, and then
Mhm.
the game itself is about what is it? Two detectives from Hillegersberg and two from Rotterdam Zuid, which are like the like more working class, like the more diverse parts of that city. And then you show like white name and then just like the black cop is a very strong statement to make. I think
It's
very good.
it's great, and the book, of course, has very core landmarks you can use. It's based on short adventures, and there are 4 adventures in the book that you can play out,
Oh, real?
such
I
as
thought it was just one.
there's multiple scenes, or rather, it's broken up into scenes rather.
Gotcha.
So you have your high speed chase scene, a low speed chase scene. Even kijken wat anders hebben we. Omschrijving scene,
Mhm.
end boss. They take place, for example, at the havens at the harbor
Mhm.
in Rotterdam, which you can imagine like a lot of cargoes, fog rolling in at night, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And what we were both sort of geeking out about, particularly, is that the game really has an amazing layout.
Yes.
So the game invites you to like cut out this page, give it to your players. The game invites you to take out the middle part of the book and say, "This is your playing mat." It also invites you to cut out the side of the book, which you can fold into tokens. I will never take this book apart. You
Mhm.
cannot. No, I do not do that. I will photocopy it if I have to. And it's really laid out, it's really inviting, and it makes you excited for experiencing drama in a world that you specifically know, you being someone who is Dutch or was familiar with Rotterdam.
Mhm. Halter Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this is the for duchies. I think it's such a like good resource to like try out. Like, hey, there's like more local stuff. There's more humor involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of accent work you can play with, obviously. You know, if you're anti Feyenoord, you know, like eat your fucking heart out. You can spin it, you can spin it a lot of ways. Yeah, my extended family would like love this because
Mm-hmm,
they're
mm-hmm.
like diehard Feyenoord fans and they're all from Rotterdam. So, and here I am a The Hague man. So
You've gone full hacks accent too.
so ach, ja joh, heerlijke berg, nee joh.
So I definitely recommend, if you have the means, check out Creeps and Sheep presenteert Hillegeberg's Kop.
Yeah, they
Uh,
also had like their other game was like a game version of the movie
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Yes, which is such a wonderful choice. What
Yes.
a project.
And it's a D4 system as well. So very easy to roll.
Super accessible,
So yeah,
super fun.
we're going to talk about how we're going to meet up so we can share this copy around.
Hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
the last thing I picked it up Sunday actually.
Oh,
Again, these tables and Creeps and Sheep, they had the D20 content. They had the D&D content very prominently placed on their tables. So really
yeah,
had to dig around. It's like, what is not Dungeons and Dragons? What is not D20? Because I saw them listing OSR games, so I kind of had
sure.
to like try to shift around in that way. One other game I picked up was from Kabouter Games, who
Oh,
also make D&D content. But when I was asking around, uh, Spears and Spells is their own original system.
SNS. Okay.
Uh, there we go. Oh, I can close this card. Yeah, I got an email for the PDF. Yes. Yes. And this
Fantastic.
is very much a traditional sort of fantasy setting. So you have like the old school, what's the style called? The scratch out sort of art style as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
The black and white prints and
And very much taking when I was talking to the creator, when I was looking through the game, it very much pulls out that overly complicated stat blocks that we're used to seeing in D&D, um, and it really kind of simplifies this. There's no classes, rather there's talents that your characters can have.
oh, okay, okay.
um, Equipment, it isn't so much like a knife does this, but a rapier does that, but a two-handed rapier does this. No, it's really much more simplified. Weapons are all weapons. You can flavor it however you want. All weapons deal
Hmm.
d6s, for
Yeah,
example, and
yeah.
that's it.
Oh, okay. And then the rest of is up to you how to use it and like spice it up and stuff.
Exactly, exactly. So in that case, it's I find it to be much more straightforward. It kind of
Yeah,
flows easily. You don't have to really train someone on the usual how to run D&D with your sheets. We're
gotcha.
used to D&D, so for us it's easy, and
Hmm.
it seems to be the standard. But when you play other games, D&D 5e is rather quite complicated for the amount of things you need to
Look up and
manage.
sort of like I want to roll this. Okay, this is the number I need to add to that, and then I need to add this separate number, and then I get to roll damage finally, and then I add this number to that. A lot of math.
Yeah, and also the rules can be interpreted in this way and that way because they're not applied evenly all the time everywhere. But this is kind of why I seek out games that are not D&D, because either we're going to embrace that simplicity or we're going to be very, very literal, like Pathfinder, for example. And I
Yeah.
love Pathfinder. I don't dislike crunchy games. I love crunchy
Hmm.
games because I'm enjoying Pathfinder 2e a lot. But I don't live in the wibbly wobbly.
Right.
I needed a full open license or full BDSM.
Oh my god. Just need to be rigged into a gaming system,
Yes,
fully tied up into it. That's
y-
what that's what we're here for.
that's what I need. So this is like, for example, the simplified character sheet for spears and cells.
Oh, cute.
They're much simplified, and
Yeah.
that is from Kabouter Games, which is a Dutch. Um,
Leprechaun.
it's a yeah. It's what I liked about their on RinCon, because we have a lot of international people.
Hmm.
They made a point for saying, "Hey, Kabouter Games is pronounced Kabouter Games and not Kabooter Games, because if you say Kabooter Games, that's actually a word meaning dove in Urdu,
Oh,
I believe. So don't
huh.
call it Kabooter Games; it's Kabouter Games."
Oh, good to good addendum. Yeah, it's like you're not just mispronouncing it in English. You're actually saying it an entirely different word in Urdu. Yeah,
So
and
that
both
was
games.
those were the games that I picked up at RinCon. Again, wallet allowing, of course. Did you
Hmm.
pick up anything for yourself?
Yes, in the spirit of games where you play as little creatures, I got. Let's see. You are. It's mirrored, but that's fine. You are a frog. It is a game about being a frog, and you go on frog
Frogs.
adventures. Uh, I picked it up from mute friend of the show, Anya.
Yes,
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 right.
Anya. That is Anya from Lalion Cosplay or Lalion Publishing as well.
La Leon Publishing. There you go. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about like the games they were selling. A lot of like their stand had some like Candela Obscura
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I wasn't familiar with that. Apparently, it's a whole big deal. Um, Learned about what what Critical Role is up to these days. But then I saw this thing, this like one shot that she said was like inspired by also like the way that Grant Howitt from Heart and Rowan Rook and Decker. I know how to say the publisher now. I know it. I can
Yay!
go on record, not stumbling over my words and embarrassing myself.
Yeah, it's
But
cool.
Rowan Rook and Decker, like Grant Howitt does like certain like one page RPGs, and I got this. I'm a big Frog fan myself. I work, I do volunteer work for Frog. What is it? Frog pilgrimages. What are they called? The when frogs emerge from their little winter slumber, they have to cross the roads,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they need help to do so because there's a lot of bikes, there's a lot of
Belief.
cars, and I will be there. Actually I'm doing this week, this weekend, with my little torch, just like shining on the road, helping out little toads and frogs to cross the road,
Oh
so
man,
they can fuck good. That's
that
the
is
point.
so good. Thank you for helping the froggies fuck, Ruben. They're
Hmm.
very
Froggy's
appreciative.
Froggy's always in my heart, so I had to get this RPG. Um, we played it
Yeah,
with friend Marcus.
with
Friend
friend
Marcus,
Marcus.
hello. We had a ton of fun. There's like it's a D6 system. You get to roll for what kind of frog you are, what your frog skill is, what your frog trinket is. So you have like a tiny sword. You can have a single running shoe. That's your house. Uh, can get a very angry firefly in a jar. And the game doesn't really tell you what to do with these bonuses. You can just like build on top of that. We decided that like, oh, if you're using your object, using your skill, you get advantage. That's like something we just decided on the fly, and the game doesn't really care about or mind that kind of like elaboration.
Yeah.
It was very fun with Frog Olympics that went absolutely off the rails with sort of like the three Frogeteers sort of.
Yes. Yes.
So that was a really really fun. Uh, I also wanted to buy, but didn't have the budget for that time. I was an orc husband
Yeah.
by Ever After Print, who also had a stand there. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
They
like
had all queer game material.
yes,
It was
and this one
beautiful.
they had also something about like I think like a lesbian vampire story that
Yep.
you could
Yep.
play through, but this one just like speaking to my desires specifically about being an orc, about being a husband, being an orc husband, very very fun. Um, D&D centered, so that was kind of like the consideration to make,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
very queer, very nice, like close knit about finding love in a like the orc lore niche of D&D, and having it be wholesome, having it be communal instead of like orcs are
Yeah.
racialized as some like as some other. No, it was very very much like, hey, this is a community and there's some bridal struggles happening and you get to be part of that.
I love the premise, but I also had to be a bit I had to mind the wallet, and I was like, I really don't have
Hmm.
in my budget to buy more D&D specific material. So I was like, oh, no, it's a D&D
Yeah.
specific, but I love it. But thank you for shouting them out, because I
Hmm.
think where we can't wallet disallows buying, the least we can do is uplift and shout out and say these are
Yeah.
cool creatives. These are people from marginalized community in the Netherlands. You don't have to like go somewhere else for that.
Hmm.
It's here. It's homegrown, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. They sell a PDF online, so for anyone out there who wants to be an orc husband or find out who their orc husband is,
Ah.
you can do that right now. So that was the game merch that I
Mhm.
got or checked out. I finally, after being pressured, after being intimidated, after being harangued to get a dice tray, I finally have a dice tray. I will never drop any dice ever again. In the
Nathan, Nathan, I have to tell you. So we sat down to play this froggy game
oh no.
at a physical flat table in the flat country of the Netherlands. Ruben, Marcus, and myself. And I was like, "Oh, what is a D6? I have D6. Oh, let's use your dice tray. Ruben, roll. Where did the dice go? Did they go? Did they land in the tray, Ruben?
Now hold
Did your
on.
very first throw into the tray? Did it land in the tray?
It bounced into the tray.
Nay,
Oh, it
of the
didn't.
floor.
I missed. Oh, I. That was just like me rewriting my own memory. I was like, oh no, it bounced out, but it just went flying.
I went flying, bounced out, went flying.
Got this beautiful dice tray. The most of the proceedings going to a very sweet local TTRPG library project, and I
Yes,
was like, that's so nice. I'm going to utilize this, and the first thing I do is just like let that baby fly, let it floor, just soar, leaving on a jet plane. Um,
yes.
um, so after that, I vowed I will never miss a die throw ever again, which also didn't go through because I think I had a couple of like out of bounds after that.
No, I remember it was good after that.
Okay.
I feel there may have been some friendly pressure to be like, do it good now.
Yeah, I will. This will forever haunt me, and I'm just a I throw big dice.
You throw
I
big
throw
dice.
I have a big dice game. What can I say? and I need a bigger I need a bigger dice tray to handle that, depending on the mood.
Those days will come. I'm a fan of the foldable clip dice
Mhm.
tray.
It's
Uh,
really nice, actually.
it's really, you can put them away. Oh, I think I mentioned the last convention I went to. This was my dice tray. I have to share it with you. Are you seeing on
Woo!
screen? It's a kitty cat,
Yes. I just looking at you mentioned that. I love that. Yeah. So this
and it
one's
folds flat,
it's actually very nice to hold. It's like nice leather. Got like
leather-ish. Pretty sure these are not leather for the price we paid. No way, that was leather.
no, not okay.
It's probably vegan or some other leather sort of
Oh,
thing.
maybe even
Speaking of
better.
dice, I also treated myself to, because I saw my friend Marcus pointed out, and I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." This was from a German stand called Ivris Nerd and Geek World, and I got myself some vegan soap. Let's show up on camera.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
And there's like itty bitty fairy dice in it. So the more I wash my hands, the more the dice will be liberated and will add to my collection. And of course, the D4 is doing the violence first.
It's sticking out.
It's sticking out and it's trying to hurt me.
It's like one of those palm massage things that you
it's
just like have to get in there.
it's exfoliating
Yeah,
me.
the pressure points every time you wash your hands.
Yeah. This is also the same table. They're from Germany. They're also the vendors of Cats of Cthulhu, the game,
Yeah.
as well. I did My memory might not be serving me well, but I don't recall them selling books. It was mostly they were selling like paraphernalia, like dice, minis, dice bags, soap, candles, etc. But they are indeed the sellers of Cats of Cthulhu.
Look at that! Look at that little monster!
Which
Yeah.
monster?
Oh, fantastic. Cthulhu
Cat-
Flologum. That one.
yeah, one.
I
And
love that.
the last company, or rather the vendor that I wanted to shout out, was a vendor called Project Apos, EPOS. And again, I saw the table full with 5e D&D homebrew books, very
Mhm.
beautifully printed, a hardcover as well. But what caught my attention was a book open to the middle, and I saw what appeared to be like Middle Eastern presenting people. And I was like, what's that? And they were telling me about the adventure. And once I could sneak a question in, I was like, did people of that culture take part in creating that book? And
Mhm.
immediately I got the answer, yes, they were involved in writing, they were involved as part of the project. It wasn't someone co-opting a culture just because, cool,
Mhm.
samurai, look at my
Exactly.
samurai thing.
Like we need a diversity. Here's our diversity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, so I thought that was pretty dang cool. And I hope to get in touch with that creator. I hope to, his name is Tom from Project Apos, and see what other games, what other people he has working on this, because I think those sort of collaborations, those sort of highlighting of different cultures within the Dutch TTRPG community,
Mhm.
I think that needs to happen and be celebrated and get more space. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just like that kind of like interest and production work. Like, everyone's competing, sort of like everyone's on the shoulder of giants. Everyone's sort of like in cahoots with each other. Everyone's competing with each other, and then having these stories being created that are just like unique and involved and inclusive. Um, gotta make the work happen to make those shine. But
Yeah,
they're out there, they're real. You can play them right now, and that is what we've been waiting for. That is like
yeah.
the things that we need.
We're waiting for this.
We were waiting
We're
to
waiting for this so bad.
finally diversity. You can play as a Rotterdammer.
But
I've wanted that my entire life.
this hot ass
Mhm.
Rotterdammer. The bad guys are even like God, Shadow Compagne, uh General Bauta, your non-existent fake dictator from other country,
Yeah.
which has really big cultural ties into the communities that are mostly in
Mhm.
these sort of Viking and
Yeah, yeah,
Rotterdam,
yeah.
etc. So you can be diverse and you can be hyper local. Those two
Hmm.
worlds exist, and they
Yeah.
absolutely exist in Rotterdam of all places.
That's what I think it's such a cool and good place. You know, not to make it D&D, but also just like take inspiration from, you know, what setting is fun to do, like hyper active, hyper actiony, like fast paced, kind of like scene switching. Because that's also what feeling in Rotterdam feels like in a big city. It's like everything's going on all the time. You don't really get time to um, you know, do your character backstory. You have to go,
Mm-hmm.
go, go to solve the crime.
Gotta solve the crimes.
Also, want to shout out the Mammut Codex
Yes, yes,
for they do like TTRPGs with a Brabant, so like the sort of like the historical um, region slash province of the Netherlands. Like
yes.
Brabant has its own sort of like cultural history. Like there's like north south divide, you can say, culturally speaking, and they make standalone campaigns, but also like incorporatable into like D&D stuff, specifically touching on the history of Brabant and
Yeah.
making it like touching on that shared history using those sort of like elements from like the local culture, really, which I think is a very very fun lens and angle. Lovely people as well.
Yeah, yeah. Our friend, again, really hyper local place, really hyper local group of people making stories that are based in this hyper local lore. I did
Mhm.
find their original project on Kickstarter. So the content is meant for 5e. Um, this sort of really Halloween-esque. The first adventure in a new setting we're developing called the Brabantshire or the Brabantgau,
Mm,
based in the historical Duchy of Brabant, which existed between 1183 and 1975. And
1975.
sorry, 1795.
17.
I don't know numbers. What are numbers? I'm not like,
That's so fine. It's like they lasted a long time. They still
yes.
did, but 75 to 75 is yeah. Start going.
No, no, I think the idea is really cool. And how to say, I wasn't so aware that there is local lores and fantasy legends here within the Netherlands as well. And it's cool that someone is sort of doing us an education about it, but also gamifying it and making fun, and of course sharing it with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's these like it's historical work, and you have to put it into a game. But I commend the effort. I think it's also like a really fun project. Uh, Big shout out.
Yes, definitely check out the Mammut Codex, especially their 5e adventures. I think the one that our friend purchased was a hunting in the Bailiwick.
Yes.
That was the adventure. And then that was our little weekend. I happened to give a panel that weekend as well, the same panel both days, called Diversity in TTRPGs. And I stood on my little soapbox and I gave well, I think a well-informed rant about why I think our hyper-local spaces, at least here or broader, could do a lot better in terms of diversity being defined as a socioeconomic representation, so representation of socioeconomic means, people with different sexual orientation, gender presentations, uh, ethnic representations, POC, particularly people who are neurodivergent and disabled, need to have more need to be more visible and seen in these spaces. One of the parts that I showed during my speech, my lecture, let's call it a lecture, was I took screen caps of all the Twitch TTRPG streams I saw that were based in Europe, like between 7 and 9 p.m., so peak evening European times.
Hmm.
And it was just white people everywhere, mostly all 100% mask presenting white people. almost all playing
Mhm.
D&D, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, but I didn't include Dutch streamers because I'm not there to personally like you specifically.
Hmm.
You
We're all friends.
that I didn't need to say that. The other screen caps really demonstrate that more than enough.
Yeah.
And I also gave a bit of a explanation about when I bring up this sort of having more, in this case, minorities on screen, I usually get pushed back with the question, but Ida, there aren't really that many minorities here. What is actually the number? So they get into a demographics kind of debate with me. So I actually showed up with census numbers in the
Hmm.
Netherlands about like they're not clear, they're not perfect, but at the very least, we can say 1 in 10 in the Netherlands that is reported. We're not even getting into
Hmm.
non-reported. Uh, is a person who has a non-Dutch, non-European background in the
It's
Netherlands.
huge.
Uh, 1 in 10. Okay, even in big cities like Rotterdam, like Amsterdam, not in
Hmm.
Ewijk, not in the city
Yeah.
town where the convention is being held, but there were definitely not 1 in 10 non-European representation in that convention.
Hmm.
Definitely not. Was there 50% gender split? Of course, the census doesn't look into gender fluidity; they just kind of say women. Yeah, maybe the splits. The census also said something like close to 18% LGBTQ plus. Yeah,
Hmm.
easy, done.
Easy.
And I think that's cool. But I
Yeah.
think that also needs to be highlighted and in a way sort of labeled. You kind of need to be clear about what your values are. You need to wear them in the front. You need to put them on your welcome mats. And
Yeah.
over time, people will know what house to go to when they see the proper welcome mat. And
Hmm.
that was my rant. It was basically saying geen meer zesjescultuur. We can't just go for the six anymore. We can't do the bare minimum of having
Hmm.
uh, a women's and then we're good. We can't
Yeah.
just have one queer person and then we're good. We can't just
Yeah.
have one neurodivergent person. We're good. We're like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
It can be better.
Here's your cishet white GM. Here's three others of those, and then one woman, and then that's five and a half. That's a rounded up to a six culture.
Yeah,
Like there's diversity, especially since a lot of like what you say, like in AUIC, it's
it's
like
it's it's that.
it's kind of like um not hard to find, but said like there's more work to do in
Mhm.
connecting, in networking there. In The Hague, for instance, 50% of The Hague citizens, of like people who live in The Hague, have a like have a immigrant background.
Mm,
That's half of the people you see on the street have roots in another country, have migrated to here, are first, second, third generation. So there is so much there's so much here, there's so much in this country, and if you just look at the national averages, like there's even you can't even hide behind that anymore. It's like, oh, but
yeah.
this all in the Randstad. It's like, no, it's not. Like,
And we're
no.
all online, so you don't need to travel
Exactly.
3 hours to Ewijk to say it's not
Mhm.
here or isn't here.
You're on Twitch anyway, so you can just like reach out to someone who is like in a different part. There's we're out here.
We're out here.
We out
Ruben
here.
and I specifically exist.
we with this stream, we hope to at least prove to you that we are extant beings. And email us if you have questions about how that's going for us. Philosophically, I think we can make a good case for our continued existence. Psychologically, that's
Ooh.
something with our therapists, but we can we can chat.
Yeah, whenever the wait list is short enough because the Netherlands. And for
The
anyone who
Netherlands.
doesn't understand what we keep meaning by culture or six, this is something that was explained to me, which is wild to me when I first moved to the Netherlands 15 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, in the Netherlands, when you go to school as a student, your scores are 10. But it was explained to me that all you need is a six to pass. So you don't need to worry
Hmm.
about getting beyond the six. Don't worry your pretty little head about the six. Six is you're doing good enough.
Hmm.
Um, what was it? Eight is for the best student in the room. 9 is for the teachers, and 10 is for God, saying the 10 is unattainable, kind
That's
of thing.
exactly. So that's also like the Protestant culture, kind of like showing its face there, of like, no, work hard, but you'll never reach the never reach the high point. That's and that's I think that's for I think for teens is a very attractive thing to hear,
Mm.
of like 5 6 is passable, and that means in theory like a 5.5, because 5.5 gets rounded up to 6. Hell yes. Later in life you realize, though, actually there's so much potential in me that I need to actually know how to get out, and that requires drive, requires um more than 6 culture.
Yeah, it requires more than a six culture.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands, you can do it, especially when it comes to TTRPGs. Be uh, my. It's not advice, but my wish for future people at Rincon, the Rincon economy ecosystem community is like, we want to see more non Dungeons and Dragons things. I want to see it. I'm willing to
Oh,
put
oh
my
no.
little sense. Cat.
Uh, this cat is ruining. Uh,
It made everything better. I want to see more non Dungeons and Dragons things. I want to see your
mhm,
mouth reader content. I want to see your original games. I want to see your solo games. I want to see celebration of sci-fi worlds
yeah.
and other cool things. Yes, this convention was themed Fae this year, but
Hmm.
there's room for your originality. I know D&D takes up a lot of space in the room, and it's important to be under that big banner.
Yeah.
But we, Ruben, are our friends who are trying to make these platforms. We want to support you when you're putting your neck out there. Please put your neck out there,
Mhm.
and we're going to show you that love. You
Reach
got
out to
this.
us. We love you.
We love you. That was our thing. Anything else to add, Ruben?
Yeah, my rose in a thorn for the Netherlands in general is
Mm.
I'd love to, like what you said, see more diversity in the TCRPG space. My thorn is that we do live under a far right government, and I wish that would stop now.
Friend, everywhere's on fire.
Yeah. So, but that's my thorn. That's just like,
Yeah, yeah,
I've
valid,
had a couple
valid.
sessions here, and my review of the campaign so far is like, could do a bit less of that.
Absolutely. 100% agreed. We're gonna get there. I think I'm likely going to next year's RingCon, like 99% probably, unless
Hmm.
something weird happens.
Yeah, and then before that, catches at Main Quest Con.
Yes, catch us at Main Quest Con, which is going to be end of mid-September in Rijswijk. That's outside Den Haag. So better better public transport, but a little less accessible because so far it is very exclusively in
Dutch
Dutch.
seems to be, yeah.
But that's okay. I'm gonna do my best. So we're going to try. I have zero self-confidence about my Dutch. People say it's okay, but the Aida brain says no. Hate yourself about it, which is not right, but I can't shut it up.
That's sort of like the your Dutch is super okay. Like
It's
even like
it's
I'd
it's
say
it's heckin' okay.
it's heckin' okay. I dare to say, but yeah, it's like the barrier of confidence is especially in Dutch, because it's this language sucks ass. Let's be real. You know what is a broodje? Stop.
What is a brooch?
What is it? We leave you with this question.
I mean, why is a boodschappen, but it's also a message?
Right. Why is boodschappen groceries, but also it's a message you deliver? Uh, what is a zakje? You know, how do you define what's the difference between a zak and a zakje? Where does that?
You can
There's
put
just
a
no
zak
clarity.
in a zakje.
You can have zakjes all the way down. You can have a zakje suck, and that makes it even more confusing.
On that philosophical note, I think we will end it here. Ruben, where can the people find you?
The people can find me on Blueski, on Beski as Urban Friend Den. Uh, you can also find me, if you're lucky, on Euphoria streams, on the
Yeah.
DM Caster channel. And other than that, you just have to be lucky.
I think you'll be lucky if you run into the Rubens.
Hmm.
My name is Aida. You can find me on Blue Sky at In the Pan. I have to really push myself to do more social media. I know it's important, but I'm just like, ugh. Um,
Yeah.
I will most likely 90% be at United Games Game Expo at the end of May. So hope to run into you there. Otherwise, I am here working at EU Euphoria. We are producing some amazing tables that are coming up soon with a cast based in Europe, telling amazing story, playing original indie games, and we are going to do everything we can to elevate that as well. So this sort of diverse community gets the recognition that I think it doesn't have. When people think of European tables, they don't think of Idas and Rubens. That needs to change. They don't think of Nathans and Apollos. They don't think of Cashes. They don't think of Draconixes, etc. And the world needs to. They don't think of Totorokis or Luyus, but they will and they must and they shall.
And that's a threat.
That's a threat. That's a threat. Other than that, I think this channel is going to be a bit quiet because we're still winding down from our month of TTRP Girls. This month on this channel, we are still continuing bi weekly with our Diced, it's pronounced like that, Diced talk show hosted by Arsen. Where we talk about food and TTRPGs. The last stream was with Jen. They're both based in France and they talked about illegal cheeses.
Illegal. Oh my god. Check that out. Get up.
Absolutely check that out. It's on the VODs. You can follow us at all the socials, which are linked down there. And Ruben, thank you so much for being here with me just for the chit chats.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. And now we're going to go for a broche. It may or may not have come from Azaki.
Maybe. But it has come from Boodschapper, that's for sure.
It has come from Boodschapper. And if you if your curry sauce is in a squirt bottle, you can put a boodschap on it. So confused. What the fuck do these words mean?
This is what we have to deal with. This is fairy tale country.
Dewey.
Doo-dooey.
Dewey. Tabe. Is tabe real? I can't be convinced tabe is a real word.
Tabe. I think tabe is just like if you're like just cutting something off, like tabe.
Tabe.